It is a field trip Friday, and we take you to the Lake of the Ozarks. We're at Tantera Resort, and we are here to continue our ongoing series, Issues in Education, and this particular program with our friends from the Missouri School Boards Association, and we'll tee it up right away with Dennis Young, who is the owner at Ittner, and they are the creators of the Issues in Education series, workshop. What should I call it, Dennis? The series, the workshop,
It's a powerful program that gives educational leaders and business leaders a voice about the important issues for 21st century learning.
And I know, Dennis, you guys are here and meeting with the School Board Association, and it's part of a relationship that you have. And I guess you guys do some talking, but I think you do a lot of listening at these events.
Yeah, it's very important. This is a place where people come and share ideas and collaborate. Districts across Missouri, all sides of districts in the city, rural, and so on. So you're learning an awful lot, but you also have a lot to give. So that's why everyone's here for, maybe 4 or 5 days.
That's right.
All right, and let's welcome our first panel here. That's Melissa Randol. She's the executive director at MSBA, and then Brent Ghan, chief of staff, MSBA, and again, Missouri School Boards Association. And Melissa, for our listeners who say, I haven't been staying involved locally, but I know we have a school board. Let's remind everybody, the school board is elected.
That's right.
And then the administrators are hired by the school boards.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. In most districts, that's the case. We have a few exceptions to that, but most cases, the board is elected. In most of our districts throughout the state, there are 7 elected positions, and they do hire the superintendent to act as the CEO of the district.
And what are the qualifications? I mean, can you be a mom, a dad, at home, a lawyer, doctor? Is it across the board?
It's absolutely across the board, and I think that's the beauty of the system that we've developed in Missouri and throughout our country for this kind of service. In Missouri, there is no background qualification. There's just an age qualification and a residency qualification. And there is a wide variety of expertise that board members bring to the table. And by the way, they're unpaid for this service. It is an elected position, but they are unpaid. So they're donating their time, their energy, and their talents because they believe in children and their future.
Is that pretty much true across the country? If you're on a school board, is that universal?
Most states, but there are some states that pay where it is a paid position. Well, not Missouri, though.
Well, and Brent, let's talk about this weekend here at Tantera. What's taking place? What goes on?
Well, this is our annual conference, Martin. We'll have about 1,200 school board members and administrators here and some other folks as well. And we'll have about 130 concurrent sessions on just about every topic you can think of related to public education. And the whole idea is to improve the skills and knowledge of our school board members and administrators so they can go back and provide the best possible leadership in their communities and benefit kids, because the world of education is constantly evolving. We have new issues emerging all the time. We have new legislation. We have demands being placed on our schools that we've never seen before. So, I think our school board members, they expect our professional staff, our teachers, and our administrators to constantly learn, and so they need to set a good example and do the same, and they're able to do that here at our conference.
So the superintendent works for the school board. What's that relationship typically like? The superintendent has the expertise, but also answers to the board. Do they meet a lot, or is there a lot of back and forth, and probably some disagreeing?
Sometimes.
Is there a typical relationship, I guess?
I think we really stress the concept of the leadership team, which means the superintendent as the professional educator and the Board of Education. And as Melissa mentioned, the school board members are not professional educators, typically. So they provide the broad policy and goal setting for the school district. They articulate what needs to be done in the school district, what the goals are, and then turn that over to the superintendent and say, you're the professional educator, and you know how to get this done for us. But the board members do not manage the school district on a day-to-day basis.
So Melissa, are they sort of a liaison between the families and the parents? So if I'm upset with something at my kid's school, I go to the school board, and then they kind of hammer it out with the superintendent?
Well, to some degree, but there is a process for parents to have, in the community at large, to have their issues addressed. The board's responsible for adopting policy, and the policy sets forth the expectations for the district as a whole, particularly their superintendent and the staff he or she hires and manages, and their communication with the community But it's very important for boards to have open, honest communication with the community so they have strong policies to allow the community to be heard, whether it's at a board meeting. Boards meet monthly, sometimes more than that, more often than that, but almost every board meets at least once a month, and so they can have that dialogue with their administration and along with the community.
Something Dennis touched on in his opening comments about you have rural, you have cities. Mm-hmm. Is that a fascinating dynamic here where the small school district and the big school district says, well, we don't have that problem, or wait a minute, how did you fix that? Is there interaction like that taking place here?
Absolutely, and that's really the fun thing about this conference is that even though there's a lot of unique situations in our state in terms of sizes of districts, we range from less than a couple of dozen students in some districts to tens of thousands of students in other districts. But they often have issues and problems that are very, very similar. They're just different in size and scope. And so learning from each other is such a valuable component of this and other opportunities that we provide at MSBA.
Is there and this is a really horrible question, it's a broad question, but is there a current state of education in Missouri, like how you feel, where we've been, where we're headed overall? And I know you work with the school administrators in conjunction with the school boards. I know there's a lot of concerns and things being addressed, but how are we doing, I guess, as an overview?
Well, I think overall, Martin, public schools in Missouri are doing a very good job of educating kids. Now, that doesn't mean we don't have issues that we need to deal with, and I think our school boards are keenly aware of that. But given the bang for the buck that we have here in Missouri, the investment that we make, in many measures, our student achievement does very well and above average among the states in many of those measures. So I think our school districts are really preparing kids for college, career, whatever it is they might want to pursue in their future. Now, again, that doesn't mean we don't have issues that we don't need to deal with and that we need to deal with, and our boards are very aware of that. Kids today are bringing issues with them to school that we haven't seen before, high poverty rates, family issues, and so forth. And that sort of thing is a real challenge. And another challenge I think our boards are dealing with is achievement gap issues, where we have students who are achieving at very high levels, and we have other kids who are coming from different backgrounds. They have, some people have called it the opportunity gap, that their backgrounds just don't allow them to be in the same position as other kids. And so how do we close that gap? That's one of the issues that schools are dealing with right now. There's no easy answer to that, but I think that's a real challenge now.
And not to get into politics at all, but I'm amazed at our election cycle here. Nobody's really even talked education. There's so many commercials, there's so many debates, and it used to be a calling card, I think, for politicians, say education, our kids, am I missing it, or is that not even being brought up very often?
No, we're very disappointed by that. I think it is the critical issue. If you want to impact economic development in Missouri, you invest in education. You invest in public education. If you want to reduce crime, you invest in public education. And go through the list of social challenges. Public education is where it starts and where we can have the most impact. So we think that we'd like to encourage elected officials to make this a higher priority, both during the campaign, but specifically when they get to Jefferson City and Washington, D.C., to deliver on some of those commitments that are made throughout their communities during the campaign.
One of the things that MSBA is doing an outstanding job is in their Center for Education Safety, because you can't learn if you don't feel safe.
That's right.
And the whole Safe Schools program is there can't be a more timely topic. And it's different in rural communities than in cities.
When you talk response time.
Yeah, the response time could be 20 minutes out in middle Missouri, or it could be 1 minute, depending on where you're located. And as we design safe schools today, because that is of paramount importance, and you have visitors coming to those safe schools and experiencing what they're like, they really can tell a difference, because you get checked in at the front door. Everyone has been trained in how to deal with someone that's in the school that is not a known person, and how you do with the name tags and that whole process. And that's a topic for, in the next 10 minutes or so. But it is so important. And so what MSBA is doing, and what Melissa's saying about quality of education, I think also goes back to safe schools.
That's right.
Dennis Young is the president and CEO at Ittner. We also have Melissa Randol, executive director, MSBA. Brent Ghan, chief of staff, MSBA. That's the Missouri School Board's Association. Ittner, as always, our gracious host here, the Issues in Education Roundtable today, coming to you from Tantera at the Lake of the Ozarks for the Missouri School Boards Association Annual Conference.